Hello. That's Lily back there. She decided to climb on me, so she's going to be here for the vlog post today. You'll probably notice that most of my videos, there's a cat in there somewhere. Because we have 6 cats, so one or two are usually around. Okay, well, today's vlog post, I'm going to be talking about neighbors as friends. I've heard in the news at times where someone dies and their neighbors didn't even know it. They're dead in the house for a week. Neighbors didn't even notice. And that's not good. So, the advantages. I'll start with the advantages of knowing your neighbors. That's one of them. That you go missing, somebody misses you. Somebody actually knows, hey, I haven't seen Frank in a while. Maybe we should check on him. That's a good thing about having neighbors that as friends that you know. Oh, she's going. And they're right there. They see what's going on. Say if you are sick, or if you had surgery, or if you had a death in the family, they're there. They'll help you with cooking, cleaning, anything that you need. If you have a friend as a neighbor, that's great. And you can also carpool. If you work in the same area of town, you can carpool with neighbors that are friends. And also for safety, of course. You can get a community or a neighborhood watch going with neighbors that are friends. And you feel safe with knowing your neighbors. Because there's a lot of neighbors that we don't know in our area. It's a fairly safe neighborhood that we live in. And we know a few neighbors. But there are others, I mean, there's some rental properties too, and they're always coming and going. I mean, people are moving out, moving in, you know, so it's hard to keep track of who is living there. So, you know, it's nice to have neighbors that you can count on as friends to keep an eye on your place and where you know them, so you know that you can trust them. And there's also good networking opportunities. When you know your neighbors, when you're friends with your neighbors, they can help spread around that you've got a business that you're starting. And also, if you are looking for a doctor, a new doctor, or an accountant, or a new place to get your hair cut, you can ask your neighbors. Where do they go? And who would they recommend? And another thing, there's no travel to visit. There's no travel time to visit your friends if they're right in the neighborhood. You can just walk next door or walk down the street. There you are. There you are. So that's handy. And it makes disputes over borders less apt to happen. If you know your neighbors, you can negotiate those kind of things more civilly, maybe, than if somebody you don't even know comes and questions the boundaries and gets all in a huff about it. If you're friends with a neighbor, that might not happen as much. And you can get help with projects. My husband and I share a fence line with one of the neighbors, and so each of the guys helped with that fence. The guys put the fence up that we share on the property, and visited, and it was a positive thing, helping each other out. And also, like I said, looking out for your property if you're going on vacation. We've done that. We've had neighbors look out for our property, look out for shenanigans going on while we've been gone, and we do the same thing for them when they're gone. So it's nice. It's nice to have neighbors that you can count on. And we've given them a key. While we were going to be gone, we gave them a key to be able to get in if they saw something suspicious, or if, say, our pet sitter forgot her key, they'd have an extra. And so everybody's in the loop. Everybody knows who to contact if there's an issue. So it's nice. And also, you could pool your tools or your resources. And if somebody doesn't have a certain tool, or like a sander, if they need something sanded down, maybe your neighbor has a sander. It's easier to borrow tools and things like that from people that you know. You wouldn't want to do that with somebody that you didn't know, because they wouldn't know if they'd ever get it back. And you don't know how they would react if you broke something. With friends, it's, things happen. Accidents happen. But it's much easier to borrow things like that from a friend. And you could have neighborhood holiday parties. That's pretty cool. When you know the neighbors, get together. I know someone who had a neighborhood Christmas dinner, or was it Christmas dinner? It was a holiday dinner, anyway. A Thanksgiving dinner, I believe it was. And one person made the turkey, and then another person had the vegetables. Another person provided the pie, and all the way down, everything that you would need for a dinner. Each family on the street provided something, or they may have provided games or anything, something like that. So I think that's a really cool idea. And you can also rely on your neighbors that are friends to accept packages for you. Say you're going to be out of town and you have this package that can't stay outside, or you don't want it left outside because you're wondering if maybe somebody will steal it. Or it'll say right on, if you have a package that's left on your doorstep, or your newspapers are piling up on your doorstep, it gives people that might have some unsavory ideas, some not so legal ideas, saying, they're not home. That's interesting. So it's nice to have neighbors who will bring in your newspaper, get your mail, or bring in those packages from UPS or whatever that are left there on the doorstep. So that's another thing. And you could have barbecues and gatherings and lots of fun stuff. You could have scavenger hunts with the kids in the neighborhood. And also you could share your produce from your garden. I've had that happen in different neighborhoods. And it's not just you've got zucchini coming out of your ears, and you take a bag and and press the doorbell and run, leave it on the doorstep so they can't say no. Not just that, just call, ask, can you use some tomatoes? Okay, I'll bring some over. It's great. It's a great way to get fresh produce and bond as neighbors too. Say, hey, that was really cool. They sent us over some tomatoes, and maybe you can do something. You could make some dessert or make I don't know, homemade ice cream and bring some over to your neighbors. So something that you could just swap. Even if you're not a gardener and they are, you can make something and bring it over. And also, I mentioned the key. Shoveling snow or fixing a fence, like my husband worked with a neighbor on our fence. And they helped round up our cats. Oh my goodness. They helped round up our cats when they got out. That's one of the reasons for the new fence and the new cat area outside. We have a cat area that's all enclosed so they can't get out. It's a big area where they can just lounge or run around. And so they got out. A couple of them, at least a couple of them, got out somehow. And so the neighbor helped round them up. It's nice when you have a neighbor that is willing to do that. And so you help each other out. It's really nice when you can be friends with your neighbors and help each other out. Okay, those are some ways some advantages of having friends for neighbors. What about how to meet your neighbors? Well, the most obvious is stop over. Go ring the doorbell and say, hi, I'm your neighbor. Welcome to the neighborhood. Or I've been here quite a few years and just never took the time to meet my neighbors. I thought it would be cool to come over and say hi and meet you finally. Just be honest. Be honest about that situation. So that's one. And also you can look to see when they're outside gardening or mowing the lawn or just maybe doing something in their garage and their garage door's open. That's my husband's way of doing things. He doesn't like to go and knock on doors of neighbors and go and visit like that. He likes to visit when they're out and about. He doesn't want to interrupt them when they're, home with their families or whatever. But he likes to do that. He'll see them outside and he'll go over and talk with them. And so that's another way. And organize a community garage sale, a block party. Let's see, neighborhood watch. You could organize, go all over the neighborhood and see if anybody would like to sign up for a neighborhood watch. And we have a neighborhood, I'm not sure exactly the title, but for emergencies. There's a family that is in charge of making sure everybody's safe and has the latest information about who to call in an emergency. Say if we have some major emergency here. And so that's really nice. Then she goes around, the woman comes around and gives us the latest information and so on and checks in on everybody. And so that's a nice way to get to know your neighbors too. you're giving them a service, you're helping them out, and plus you're getting to know them too. And have a potluck. You can invite your neighbors to a potluck. And you can maybe join in on a neighborhood cleanup effort. Maybe you can organize that. Walk your dog. If you walk your dog, you are going to meet every dog walker in the neighborhood. So, and you already have something in common because you all have dogs. So that's a good way to meet people. And you can meet through your kids. Say they meet the neighbor kids at school. And then they say, well, can I go over there? And then you go over. Maybe you want to check out where they're going to be. And so you drop them off and go in and meet the parents and meet the kids. So that's a good way. It's a really good way to meet people in your neighborhood. And maybe even at work, maybe you find out some people that you work with live near you. You didn't even know it. So you can meet some of your neighbors at work and or church or your place of worship. You can meet people there. And so another thing is you can meet people through other friends. There you go. I mean, you have friends already. Most of you would have friends already. So ask around. Say, do you know anybody that's looking for more friends? Or do you know anybody that likes to knit? Or do you know anybody that likes to go to garage sales? Or do you know anybody that would like to get together to exercise with me? That kind of thing. Ask your other friends. Then they can introduce you to these people that hopefully will become your friends as well. So those are some of the ideas that I had. Do you have any other ideas of how you've met friends or how others can make friends? I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to find out what you're thinking about this and what your experiences have been. Do you know your neighbors? Or are you pretty isolated? Do you have neighbors at all? Or are you out in the country and live miles and miles from the next neighbor? Let me know. Hope you're having a great day. You take care. And if you would like to contact me, my email is amy@acnlifecoach.com. I'd love to hear from you. Or you can post your comments below. Bye-bye.